At this point, I have killed Uber Lilith probably somewhere in the range of like 400 or 500 times. Not entirely sure, but I've been doing a ton of carries over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Nick2. If you're interested in getting an Uber Lilith carry, feel free to swing by, or if you just end up having any questions regarding this video. But a lot of people have been asking me for tips on how to very easily do this on Necro. Necro is unbelievably strong to the point to where I'm pretty sure you could do this at like level 95 if you wanted to and if you played perfectly. But at this point, I've done it so many times that it's incredibly consistent. I can go in there and do it pretty much 100 out of 100 times if I don't make some stupid mistakes here and there. So I figured I would just go over everything that I have learned and make it very easy for you guys to just go in there and get your first kill, even if your character is not perfectly geared or anything like that. I'm not the absolute best teacher here, but I've learned a lot about it and figured that I would just go over everything with you guys so you can very easily grab a kill for yourself. I already posted this build yesterday, so if you want a very in-depth guide to the build and everything revolving around it, feel free to check out the previous video, but real quickly, I'll just go over everything for you guys. This is a Lilith-oriented setup, but you really have to change very little to make it work for Lilith. And I'll go over some minor optimizations. Keep in mind, my gear is like pretty much perfect, but you can do this with very suboptimal gear as long as you play properly. If your goal is to just get a single kill, I promise you, you can do it with pretty suboptimal gear because Necro is just so inherently strong. Let's just quickly go over the build. Again, the Paragon board and everything will be over on the website, and then I'll just show you guys a kill, and then I'll go over everything that you need to know in order to very easily get a kill and also just consistently do it. So let's get into the skill tree first. I'm not going to talk too much about the skills. Go over the Paragon board in a second. So you want to use Bone Splinters because every once in a while you will actually need to build Essence, and the other skills are just not going to help us with the build. Having our Essence topped off for certain damage phases enables us to make sure that we have enough damage to actually phase Lilith and basically cheese her. The most important thing is Hued Flesh. This is going to create corpses for bosses so that we can actually use our corpse tendrils to give us the crit chance and the crit damage modifiers. We also take advantage of corpses via Corpse Explosion with one of our Paragon nodes, which is very important to play around, being not Bone Graft, it is Flesh Eater. It gives you 40% damage multi, so playing around that is incredibly important. So Flesh Eater is mandatory, and we're going to pair that with Corpse Explosion. And then here I go 3 points into Death's Embrace and then Death's Reach. You could take the points out of Death's Embrace, but there's not really anywhere else to put it in my opinion, and getting the damage reduction is nice, and also sometimes Lilith will W key you, so having just a little bit of extra damage there, I mean, doesn't hurt anybody. You want to put just a few points into Corpse Tendrils to just reduce the cooldown if you happen to phase her quickly on accident. Putting points in here literally doesn't do anything, so you don't want to do that. And then 3 Serration, Compound Fracture, Evulsion. We get Bone Storm for the crit, which normally is not all that necessary, but a lot of times you will run out of Essence, so you will not be crit capped, so having the extra crit chance there is particularly nice, and we pretty much need Bone Storm to be able to face her in certain scenarios. Inspiring Leader for the attack speed, the other stuff for the sacrifice bonuses. Ossified Essence, of course, so that we just have significantly more damage. Again, very detailed guide in the previous video. This is just quickly going over things. The crux of this build is basically scaling a lot of maximum essence and getting a decent bit of crit damage that we just have inherently throughout the build, and you end up just doing unbelievable amounts of damage because you can get pretty much 100% crit chance while scaling your max damage out of control. When it comes to the Book of the Dead, I've been using Skirmishers for the 5% crit chance, which arguably you don't really need, but it is what it is. It's pretty nice for consistency. Recently, I've been trying out Cold Mage Sacrifice for the 15% Vuln, which mathematically should be better than Shadow, but I can't really tell that much of a difference because damage is so variable in this game. So feel free to use whichever one. But mathematically, Cold Mage Sacrifice should be like 10% more damage if you have like max essence than the Shadow is, but maybe the Shadow is slightly better for consistency, to give you more of a cushion, to give you more crit chance. I don't know. If you're having a hard time, just try Shadow versus Cold. Not really a big deal. And then we have Golem for the extra crit. Quickly, we'll go over the gear and how you can optimize for damage. Not going to talk too long about things because it's already going to be a pretty long video because I want to go over all the strategy. So for the helmet, you want a Deathless Visage. You can definitely do this without a Deathless Visage. Don't stress too much about it. This is just going to net you more damage because it has crit on it and max essence and fizz damage. I don't really think the Echo Explosion that it does is really all that helpful for this. So if you had just had like a normal helmet, you would just want essence, and then you could get, I don't know, like Intellect or something. That nothing else really particularly matters. Maybe cooldown reduction, but that won't really help you for Lilith that much. Just make sure you get a max essence roll because that's really important. When it comes to the chest, you need at least damage reduction from close, so Lilith doesn't just one-shot you, and then you can get like normal damage reduction or something. And then I have damage percent and bone skill damage. Getting the additive is helpful here, especially if you're lacking damage. And you can also get physical damage, so you get a triple damage roll. But at least make sure to have one form of DR, otherwise Lilith will actually kill you. And then you want Protector, so that you get the barrier. On your gloves, you want to put Ossified Essence, and the most important thing on the gloves is getting Lucky Hit, Restore Resource. If you don't have that, the build literally just will not function. And then you want ranks 2 Bone Spear, and then Crit Chance, and then you can either go for Crit Damage or Lucky Hits, or Attack Speed. Preferably, though, I think Crit Damage is your best bet. On the pants, you want to get Disobedience. Obviously, that could be on the chest as well. And you could get some damage like Intellect here or something, but it doesn't really matter. And you just want at least damage reduction and damage reduction from close. Again, so Lilith does not one-shot you. The boots are all not too important. You mainly just want essence cost reduction. Ranks to Corpse Tendrils is a nice addition so that you get more cooldown reduction for it, but it's actually not necessary. Intelligence is nice for a little bit of extra damage, especially if you're struggling there. That's about 6% damage. For the legendary, it doesn't matter. For the two-handed weapon, you want to be putting Splintering on here. I've seen some videos talking about using Serration on your two-hander and swapping stuff around. Tried it, I don't see too much of a difference, but for Lilith's purposes, I would put Splintering on the two-hander. This is what I know works. I'm not comfortable suggesting something else that I have not thoroughly tested. Feel free to if you believe in that math. I don't really know as of right now. Haven't looked too much into it. What you want on the two-hander is actually not my roll. As you can see, I have a very good roll, but you can do this without a very good roll. I promise you. You want to have vulnerable damage and then intelligence. And then instead of crit damage, you want core skill damage because your additive damage is very low on Necro. So getting that first core skill damage instead of double crit is actually going to be better for you. Going to net you, I think it's like 7 to 8% more damage, if I remember correctly. But getting a double crit roll obviously is perfectly fine. And again, you want Splintering. When it comes to the rings, you want one with exposed flesh or else your life is going to be miserable. I've only ever looted one of these. Feel free to check out my Obel video if you're having a hard time as well, but I don't want to Obel farm really. And I'm perfectly fine with this ring. It's been working. But ideally, you pretty much want this roll where you have crit damage, crit chance, vuln, and maximum essence. Don't go lucky hit. If you're putting lucky hit in your rings and you're having a hard time with Lilith, that's why. It's because you don't have enough damage. You want exposed flesh on one, and then you can either go for Intercom or Edge Masters. Intercom is just more damage and more consistency because you're standing still all the time while fighting Lilith. On the amulet, the only thing that matters is getting Grasping Veins, getting ranked to Avulsion or Compound Fracture. Both of those work, and essence cost reduction. You could also decide to get intelligence percent if you want to squeeze out even more damage. I don't have another Grasping Veins roll that is good, and I'm not too worried about min-maxing the damage there. And I'm perfectly fine with the movement speed and stuff here. Another thing that is important is getting maximum resource elixirs. Without these, you're probably going to have a pretty hard time because the extra 50 resource is going to scale up our Serration damage. Our Ossified Essence damage, and also gives us a little bit of crit chance with Serration. Why is Aspect of Serration and Serration named the same thing? I don't know. When it comes to the Paragon board, this is pretty much the Rob Paragon board, and I had a friend of mine help me with this. We edited it a pretty good bit, and we got a crazy amount of additional damage. This will be over on the website. The main thing that you want to keep in mind here, I'll quickly show you guys where the glyphs are, I guess, but the main thing you want to keep in mind is you actually want to attach this board last, because if you don't attach this board last and you attach this board last, these additive nodes will have a higher requirement, and these are a crazy amount of damage, particularly on Lilith because a lot of her phases are counting as she's injured, and you need to phase her insta. So getting the additive damage to elites, the damage to injured there, getting these bonuses are massively impactful to your damage. On the first board, you want to be going Sacrificial, which is going to buff all this other stuff. I went for extra int, literally just for extra percentage damage, although it is not necessary. You could swap, you could go like that, doesn't matter. Actually, that's better. I was missing some damage. Woohoo! You'd prefer to go like that. I have 60 int, you don't need that, you just want to go for 40. But again, I just went for the extra damage, and getting the extra dex here is actually nice for reaching the dex requirements here, which I am overcapped on a little bit, but dex also equals crit chance for us. In the next board, we go for Bone Graft, which gives us maximum essence, and there's a bunch of essence here. If you're having survivability issues, on Lilith particularly, take the points out of this int here and go into the maximum life. You can get just up to the 8%, but you should have enough survivability to tank her hits. And then we go into Exploit, and we max this out in this board and get some extra damage. Next board, we go Imbiber for the extra damage healthy. Highly recommend leveling this one up because it's a lot of additive damage, and we need to maintain healthy, otherwise we're missing attack speed and damage, so playing around that is very important. And then an optimization I made is I went and grabbed this extra damage to injured, so this is a crazy amount of extra damage for us, and we also get Scent of Death here, so we just have extra damage reduction. It's pretty useless, but it's right there, so might as well. The extra damage is okay every once in a while, but most of the time you will have corpses to use. There's some crit here, whatever, and then we go down here, and we're going to slap in Gravekeeper, so we do extra damage while corpses are nearby. Technically speaking, I don't remember where it is. Corporeal should be better than this, but I'm pretty sure, I don't know, something's either wrong with Gravekeeper or Corporeal doesn't work or something, or I'm just high. Either way, buffing targeted is incredibly good for us because 36% damage to elite, so keep all that in mind. Make sure you're hitting the dex requirement for this though, and for this, it's only 450 dex, which should be pretty easy for you. Now, I'm just going to show you guys that I can very consistently and easily do this, and I'll just show you guys a kill, and then after I show you guys a kill, we can slow it down, and I can go over exactly how you want to do things. How you kill her is going to be a little bit dependent on your gear and your personal experience and your damage. I'm going to do my best to go over the different ways that you can approach it and give you guys as much information as possible. Sorry if the guide portion is a little bit long, but I just want to be diligent with you guys. Personally, I had an issue where I was watching some other people, shout out Rob actually. I watched his video in order to be able to get my first kill. However, I was just having a very hard time with consistency, and watching him, I was like, why am I not able to replicate this damage all the time? Why am I having issues? And talked with somebody and he helped me understand how to have more consistency with it. So real quickly, I'll just show you guys a kill. Show you guys it's pretty easy, and then go over all the different strategy and ways that you guys can pretty easily get your first kill and optimize around some sort of consistency if you're interested in like doing carries and whatnot. Again, I'm like trying a little bit of different stuff here, but in terms of my gear with the sacrifice thing. But the main thing is that you don't want to just like burst her down there, and as you can see, we get the corpses and the corpse tendril to just absolutely nuke her. The main thing is that you do not want to just like full blast in the first phase. If you full blast in the first phase every time, it's not going to be consistent for you, and a lot of the time you will not have enough essence to actually do it, and you're going to phase her way too early. The next thing here is I'm actually saving my Bone Storm for this phase, which I just found to be way more consistent because this phase is where she has more HP just for one phasing her, and then again we make sure to have the corpse tendrils and we make sure to have the additional damage there. And I was able to nearly one phaser there. Most of the time I'm able to one phaser, but it's a little bit variable, but able to just wait for a second and then I'm gonna, you know, not die here, woohoo, and the boss is pretty much dead. I'll just show you guys a full kill, but the boss is literally dead. I'm just gonna like pretty much AFK at this point. I'm gonna replay the kill and show you guys how you want to actually approach this. Very, very fun here. Woo! I'll just go over everything that I have learned. But again, probably just skip ahead in the video. But for those of you guys that want to actually see the full kill, I'll just show you guys a full kill. You can kill her in like 130. I think I currently have the fastest kill time on accident, but you don't want to kill her super quickly. Ideally, you want to take it a little bit slow for consistency's sake. But yeah, there we go. Woohoo, we got a kill. Crazy. Blood Mist here for the off chance she bugs out. And there you go, that's a kill. I gotta record this again because previously I didn't have myself muted so you could hear me twice. So when it comes to the strategy and how you want to do this, I'm gonna be very diligent with this so you guys can get it down. The biggest thing here is consistency, and basically you want to have the first phase down. The first phase is by far the hardest. The second phase is very, very easy. So let's go over everything so you can very consistently get the first phase down. The second that you do that, the boss is pretty much dead. So when you start out, personally, I found literally right where I'm clicking to be the best place to start out with because she'll land, knock you back a pretty good distance, and then that's just very consistent for me. You could start a little bit lower if you wanted to, but keep in mind, sometimes she will knock you back further and then it'll knock you out of the arena and you'll just die. So make sure you're at the very least, right where my cursor is right here, right above the shape, right above where the shape starts. Now she's going to knock us back. Our goal in this first phase is to not push her early. We want to get her around this A to the R to the N. Sometimes she pushes a little bit early, but around this part of her health bar is where she's going to start the next phase. So our goal isn't to just start that phase instantly, okay? We do want to start it a little quickly, otherwise she'll start spawning waves and start doing mechanics. We don't want to deal with all of that, but we don't need to just instantly get her to do it. That is why you're having problems. What you want to do is make sure that you have your corpses ready, your corpse tendril ready, so that when she lands, you instantly can corpse tendril her. So you want to have 4 corpses preemptively popped, so that the second that she lands, you pop the 5th one for the 40% damage multi, and you corpse tendril. You also need to make sure that you are at full health, and that you are at full essence, and you face her quick enough to where she does not, start doing mechanics and stuff. That is our goal when we start out with. So we don't want to just start instantly Gatling gunning bone spears. You're going to have a bad time if you do that. What you want to do is just send out like 1, 2, 3 bone spears. The second that you get a corpse tendril, and then corpse explosion. And every time that you corpse explosion, count that in your head. Okay, that was 1 corpse explosion. Now that you've popped the corpse tendril and the corpse explosion, do a little bit of damage, but make sure to not overdo it on the damage. If I send out even just 1 more bone spear at this point, I'm going to phase her, and then I'm not going to have enough essence, and it'll be a hard time. A lot of the time, I accidentally phase her, which you'll see with the speed kill that I'll put at the end of the video. But ideally, that is what's going to cause you problems. So you want to make sure to, after the corpse tendril, do like 2 bone spears, and then a blood will spawn right behind you. The second that the blood spawns, instantly 1-tap it. As long as you have near max essence, you'll pretty much always 1-tap it, and then you want to instantly corpse explode it. Again, keep that in mind, that is 2 corpse explosions now. And then at this point, Lilith is probably going to start W-keying you right before you phase her. This is pretty much perfect. So at this point, either you want to, depending on your corpse scenario, you either want to bone spear to try to spawn a corpse so that you have at least 4 popped prior to the phase, or you want to start bone splintering to get max essence, and you can kind of do one or the other. You can do bone spear, bone splinter, bone spear, bone splinter. You just need to make sure you have near max essence for the phase, or you will not have enough damage. Also at this point, you want to be spamming your health bot, because she's going to be smacking you in the face. So usually right after I kill that first blood, I spam a health bot, and then as she's fighting me here, I'm spamming my health bot, and I'm using Splinters, Bone Spear, Splinters, Bone Spear. And as you can see, I'm literally at maximum essence. So now I'm going to pop another corpse, and in a perfect world, I would have popped an additional one, but I didn't get particularly lucky with this, but it's fine. I have 5 corpses anyways. I corpse tendril a little early. For 90% of you guys, the second that she goes into the sky, like right here, you want to instantly do this corpse already, like have this corpse done before she goes into the sky, and you want to bone storm. I'm not bone storming because I don't need the damage here, but most of you guys, this is where you will have a hard time pushing. You want to bone storm as she's doing this animation, and then you want to start popping your other corpses. Get it to where you have 4 corpses popped, and then right about a second after, right around here, is when you want to corpse tendril, and then she will land into the tendril, and then right after the tendril, you corpse explode. Make sure to tendril before the corpse explode, otherwise you're going to consume the corpse, then you can't tendril, then you just jump off the map if you mess that up. So as you can see, I actually did 2 corpse explosions there because I miscounted and I did not have an earlier one in the fight, and I didn't want to accidentally delete my corpse because I couldn't see all of them. So I corpse tendril preemptively, I double corpse explosion, and then I'm just going to blast her. Another tip, this might just be placebo, but I was having a hard time consistently phasing her because I was tapping, and then I started just holding down right click anytime that I was doing a damage phase, and I had more than enough damage. A little tip my friend gave me is you can hold for like 3 seconds and then just start tapping so that you don't completely drain yourself of essence, but typically this is what I found to be most consistent, and as you can see, I just absolutely blast her. These adds that spawn, you need to make sure that they die prior to her landing back down, because if they don't die, what's going to happen is you're going to start getting waves and you will actually have to dodge them. If you don't kill Lilith at this point, you have about 1 more chance to kill her, which is when she actually lands. As you can see, she landed and instantly died, but if she has like a sliver of health, she can land, and then you can get like 1 bone spear off and actually phase her right here, but you have like literally 1.5 seconds. So if you do not phase her pretty much insta, just jump off the map and go again, but you want to make sure to get enough damage here. As you can see though, I'm literally at full essence, I'm at full HP, that was like a really good push, and now I have these bloods. Usually, sometimes you can get more or less bloods, it depends, but if you have like 1 or 2 bloods, what you want to do, depending on your essence situation, is make sure to bone splinter them so that you have max essence going into the next part of the phase. So I just killed that one with a bone spear, and then I'm going to walk up to this one. Also, they can spawn off screen, so be careful for that. I'm going to go up to this one and I'm just going to bone splinter it so that I can get max essence. And then I'm going to preempt all of my corpses. And I'm going to stand pretty much where I started at the first phase, slightly back. I'm going to bone storm here just because I like to have a consistent, very high damage in this part of the phase. But for most of you guys, you should be bone storming earlier, and you have a crazy amount of time to do all the amount of damage in this phase. So it's pretty easy. I just started bone storming here because of the carries. So I'm max essence, I'm max HP, I've already done 4 corpses, just like before. So I'm pretty much just waiting for her to spawn. Since I want to bone storm, I'm going to bone storm right when this first wing spawns, and then when the second wing spawns is when you want to corpse central. If you're not bone storming, just ignore the bone storm part, right? But you want to wait to corpse central for the second wing to start spawning right around here. If you do it any earlier, even like half a second earlier, she won't get hit by it, you won't do enough damage, just jump off the map. So the second wing spawned. I did it slightly late here, but not a big deal. I'm going to corpse central and then corpse explosion to get my 5th corpse, and then I'm just going to absolutely blast her. Again, I am holding right click here, but as you can see, my essence got pretty low. I didn't get really any lucky hits there with exposed flesh or the other thing, so my damage was a bit low. You could alternatively decide to tap a little bit. Now that I didn't do enough damage, she's going to go up, and what I want to do, you have 2 options. You can either go up to the top here preemptively as she's doing this and just walk away, and then you have a little bit more time to do damage. Personally, what I do is I just spam all these corpses to get 5 corpses. I pop a corpse central insta, so she literally just lands right into the corpse central that I do, and then I just blast her and finish her off. And as you can see, I have a crazy amount of time to spare. Now you want to pop your blood mist the second that you're in this. Basically, right when all this red stuff catches up to you, you can see that the map fills up with this red stuff. When the red stuff kind of fills up to you, gets around right here, that's when you want to pop your blood mist, and then you'll be perfectly safe. But all of this time here, you have to do damage to her. You only have to get her to around the H prior to like the 3rd platform when she goes over here. So you have a crazy amount of time. So right here, even if you haven't done enough damage, you can still just spend all this time blasting her. Just make sure to not drain yourself of all of your essence. If you have not done all the damage yet, just wait, okay? Just chill. Wait to be able to bone splinter her when she comes to this platform. Wait to have another corpse to spawn, and then you can start blasting her. You have a crazy amount of time. Another thing, as you can see, I did a corpse central there. You can just sit here bone splintering. You have so much time. Another thing, you don't want to move early off of the platform. If you move early, you're going to die. You have it's unbelievable. This is like the easiest mechanic in the game. You have actually like 10 seconds to sit on this platform. You see, the only time this platform stops working is like here. You could still be on it right here and be fine. You could still just jump off and you'd be fine. It lasts literally forever. So you have all of this time to sit on the platform. So don't move early, but obviously don't move too late. Just my tip is literally just wait for the entire map to be clear. But again, don't do it early. Don't jump the gun and get nervous. You have a crazy amount of time. At this point, if she's at under H, she will go to this platform. As you can see, she goes into the center and then she instantly skips that next mechanic. If she starts this next mechanic, it's over. So you want to get her to around under the H prior to this part of the fight. And then again, she's just going to go over here and you've basically killed her at this point. If you need to do a little bit more damage, obviously at this point, feel free. I'm kind of just bone splintering for fun. Doesn't really matter. Again, I'm just going to move off of the platform. And then we have, a corpse there, and then you just want to start blasting her. You can start preemptively shooting her. She doesn't have very much HP there, and she should die pretty quickly. Depending on how fast or not you kill her, if you're a little bit slow at this part, she will actually start doing a mechanic. So you can kill her, and then she can also do the mechanic. So make sure after you kill her to pop a blood mist so you do not accidentally die. That's pretty much it for the fight. I'm pretty sure I went over absolutely everything. Here quick, I'll show you guys a speed kill that I accidentally got. This is literally on accident, and this is not how I would recommend doing it because as you can see, I phase her in the first part literally in like half a second on accident, which is not ideal, but I just want to show you guys. I don't know, it's kind of cool. I'm pretty sure this is the fastest Lilith kill that anybody has. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's not like impressive or anything because it was literally accidental. But it's kind of just funny that it happened, and I figure might as well just throw it into the video if you guys want to see, like, literally the top end of killing her insanely quickly. There is a bit of variance with the fight. I'd recommend just rewatching everything that I said. There's a lot of information to really, digest there, but the more that you do the fight, it's really just timing. Like, as long as you just make sure, max essence, max HP, you have the corpse central ready, you corpse explode, you'll get it down. all the time. It should take you less than an hour, maybe 2 hours to get your first kill, and after that, it's super easy if you want to like help your friends through it. Necro is unbelievably powerful. It's pretty easy, and hopefully the video helped. If you have any questions, feel free to just check me out on Twitch or ask down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, though. Hopefully you found the video helpful. If you did, subscribe, whatever. Have a nice day. Peace out, guys.